My sister stood at the microphone in her white gown, smiling at 200 wedding guests. She pointed at me. And that's my sibling over there. Works in security, helping out tonight. Nobody special, but family's family, right? The room laughed. Her new husband, Colonel Ryan Matthews, didn't. He was staring at me like he'd just seen a ghost. His best man leaned over and whispered something. Ryan's face went pale. How do you tell your sister she just humiliated herself in front of a 3-star general's staff? I had the medals in my pocket. I had the clearance card in my wallet. But I had something better. Patience. Before we get to what happened next, drop a comment and tell me where you're watching from and what time it is. And hit subscribe, because you'll want to see how this ends. Let me back up. Because what came next? My sister still doesn't believe it. Growing up, my sister Claire was the golden child. Straight A's, Ivy League. Law school offers she turned down to work in PR. I was the invisible one. At 18, I enlisted. Army. Nobody asked why. I spent the next 8 years in the 75th Ranger Regiment. 3 combat deployments. Kabul, Kandahar, and one I still can't talk about. When I got out, I didn't go back to school. I went private. Executive protection, threat assessment, embassy security contracts. If you're a CEO flying into a red zone or an ambassador who needs an advance team, you call someone like me. My clearance is top secret, sensitive compartmented information. Active. My rate is $2,500 a day, plus expenses. But to my family, I was just in security. Claire thought that meant I stood at mall entrances with a flashlight. She never asked. I stopped explaining. I also stopped deleting emails, texts, performance reviews. In my line of work, you document everything. Habit. When Claire got engaged to Ryan, a full-bird colonel with a spotless record and a political future, I was happy for her. She called me 6 weeks before the wedding. I knew she wanted something. I didn't know she wanted to bury me. Hey, so I have a tiny favor to ask. That's how Claire started the call. Ryan's got all these military people coming to the wedding. Colonels, majors, couple generals. The venue's security is like basic. I was thinking, since you do security stuff, maybe you could help out? You know, walk the perimeter, check credentials, family discount. I kept my voice level. Claire, I consult on embassy protection. My day rate is, she laughed. I'm not paying you. You're my sibling. You're coming to the wedding anyway, right? Why would I pay you to do what you already do? Because it's my job. It's not a real job. Ryan's guys are actual officers. I just need you to, I don't know, stand around and look busy. You're good at that. Silence. I could have ended the call right there. Instead, I said, I'll come as a guest, not as your staff. Fine. Whatever. Just don't make it a thing. And don't wear anything too military, okay? Ryan's friends are real soldiers. I don't want confusion. She hung up before I could answer. Real soldiers. I looked at the ribbon rack sitting on my desk. Bronze Star, Army Commendation. Combat Action Badge. I put them in a drawer, and I started keeping screenshots. Wedding day. I wore a simple black suit. Low profile, no medals. Claire seated me at the back. Table 9. Distant cousins I'd met once. The head table was all military brass and Claire's PR friends. During cocktail hour, she found me by the bar. Hey, quick thing. The venue's security team is short tonight. Can you just stand by the side entrance and check names? It'll take like 20 minutes. Claire, I'm a guest. Please. Don't make this difficult. I should have said no. I didn't. I stood by the side door in my suit, checking names against the list on my phone. A lieutenant colonel walked past me and handed me his coat. He thought I was venue staff. I took the coat, smiled, said nothing. Claire walked by 5 minutes later and gave me a thumbs up. My parents saw me standing there. They looked away. I had my phone. I had my credentials in my wallet. I had one email draft queued that could have ended this in 10 seconds. But I wanted to see how far she'd go. I didn't have to wait long. The reception started. Toasts began. Claire took the microphone. She thanked everyone. She introduced the bridal party. She got to family. My parents, who've supported me forever. My aunts and uncles, and my sibling back there, works in security. Helped out with the doors tonight. Nobody special, but hey, family's family. Polite laughter. I didn't move, but Ryan did. He was staring at me, then at his phone, then at his best man, Major Dennis Ellis. Ellis pulled out his phone. Typed something. His eyes went wide. He showed Ryan the screen. Ryan stood up. He started walking toward me. Claire kept talking, oblivious. Ryan reached my table. He leaned in quietly. Ma'am, I apologize, but I need to ask. Is your last name Brennan? Did you serve with the 75th? I nodded. Ellis was right behind him. He turned his phone around so I could see the screen. My LinkedIn profile. Headline: Independent Security Consultant. TSSCI clearance. Former 75th Ranger Regiment. Recommendations from 2 ambassadors and a Deputy Secretary of Defense. Ryan's face went from confused to horrified. Claire was still talking, and she had no idea what was coming. Ryan tried to speak to me quietly. Claire saw him walking over. She stopped mid-sentence. She came down from the head table fast. Is everything okay? Are you bothering the guests? She was talking to me. Ryan turned. Claire, we need to talk. I think there's been a... She waved him off. It's fine, babe. My sibling just has a hard time staying in the background. Always needs to be the center of attention. She said it loud enough for 3 tables to hear. A bridesmaid giggled. Ryan tried again. Claire, listen, I really think... Not now. She turned to the room and forced a laugh. Sorry, everyone. Family drama. You know how it is. My siblings always had a hard time with not being in the spotlight. Security work's not glamorous enough, I guess. More laughter. My parents looked down at their plates. Ellis pulled out his phone again. This time he wasn't smiling. He pulled up something else, showed it to Ryan. Ryan whispered, "Oh my God." Claire kept talking. She was back at the mic now. The photographer was filming. Guests were posting clips to Instagram in real time. The wedding hashtag was live. Ellis leaned close to Ryan and said one sentence. Ryan went white. He said, "We need to fix this, now." Major Ellis stepped forward. He walked right up to my table. "Ma'am, I apologize for interrupting, but I need to ask you directly." The room went quiet. "Are you the same officer who coordinated the security assessment for the Kabul embassy evacuation in 2021? I nodded. Ellis turned to face the room. This woman held a perimeter under fire for 16 hours. She got 300 people out. Civilians, contractors, Afghan allies. She has a Bronze Star with Valor device. He held up his phone, pulled the image onto the cocktail bar TV screen. A news article. Department of Defense Commendation Summary. My name. My photo in combat fatigue standing next to the Secretary of Defense. The room was silent. Claire's smile disappeared. Ellis kept talking. She currently holds one of the highest security clearances in the country. She protects diplomats and executives in active threat environments. And she's sitting at table 9. He looked at Claire. With all due respect, ma'am, your sibling is more qualified than half the people at this wedding, including me. Ryan put his hand on Claire's shoulder. She looked at me like she'd never seen me before, because she hadn't. She never asked. An hour later, my parents found me outside. My mother was crying. We didn't know. We didn't know you'd done all that. I stayed quiet. My father spoke next. Claire knew you were in the military. She didn't know it was. That. She never asked. My mother looked down. She's been under a lot of pressure. All her friends are marrying doctors, CEOs. She wanted this day to be perfect. She said if people knew you were accomplished, they'd overshadow her. There it was. Not ignorance, suppression. My father pulled out his phone. Opened the family text thread. 3 weeks earlier, Claire had sent a message. Don't mention the military stuff at the wedding. I don't want Ryan's friends thinking I'm the less impressive sibling. My mother had replied with a thumbs up. I read it twice. She didn't forget my career. She buried it. On purpose. To protect her image. I looked at my parents. You saw that message and said nothing. My father nodded. We thought it would keep the peace. I put my phone away. Well, now everyone knows the truth. Peace is over. I walked back inside. I had a choice to make. I found Ryan near the bar. He saw me coming. He stood up. I am so sorry. I had no idea I know. I kept my voice calm. I need to tell you what I do, not what Claire thinks I do. What I actually do. I pulled out my business card. Handed it to him. I protect senators, tech CEOs, ambassadors in red zones. I've worked in 12 countries. I carry a top-secret clearance that gets renewed every 5 years. My clients include people you've probably briefed. Ryan stared at the card. Why didn't you say something earlier? Because she never asked. And I got tired of explaining. He sat down. What do you want me to do? I took a breath. I'm not here for revenge, but I'm done being erased. After tonight, your wife and I are acquaintances, not siblings. She'll have to earn trust back, and I won't show up to family events where I'm treated like I'm less than. Ryan nodded slowly. That's fair. I looked toward the head table. One more thing. I need 5 minutes at the mic. For what? Clarity. Ryan stood, thought for a moment, then nodded. It's yours. I walked back into the ballroom. It was time to tell the truth. Ryan handed me the microphone during open toasts. The room quieted. I looked at Claire. She was confused, nervous. I kept my voice steady. I want to thank my sister for including me today. Polite applause. She introduced me as nobody special. She's right. I'm not special. I paused. I'm just someone who spent 8 years in the 75th Ranger Regiment. Someone who's been shot at in 4 countries. Someone who now protects ambassadors, CEOs, and yes, a few colonels. The room was silent. I've held security perimeters in Kabul, Baghdad, and Nairobi. I've coordinated evacuations under fire. I have a top-secret clearance that gets audited by the federal government every 5 years. I reached into my pocket. I pulled out the Bronze Star medal, held it up. This is for valor. 16 hours. 300 people evacuated. I don't wear it often. It's not for show. I walked to the head table. Placed it in front of Claire. I don't need a spotlight, sis. But I also won't be erased anymore. I turned back to the room. I hope your marriage is built on honesty, because from now on, our relationship will be... I handed the mic back to Ryan. For 3 seconds, no one moved. Then Major Ellis stood, started clapping. A brigadier general in the back stood next, raised his glass. One by one, the officers in the room stood. The applause built slowly. Then it thundered. Claire sat frozen, tears forming in her eyes. Ryan leaned close to her, whispered something. She nodded. I walked back to table 9. And for the first time in my entire life, my parents looked at me like they actually saw me. The next morning, I woke up to a text from Claire. 2 lines. I'm sorry. I was scared. I didn't reply right away. 2 weeks later, we met for coffee. She cried, apologized again, said she'd spent her whole life being the golden child and was terrified she'd never measure up. Everyone expected me to be perfect, and when you did something amazing, I felt like I disappeared. I listened. Then I said, you didn't disappear. You just decided I had to, so you could shine. That's not fear. That's cruelty. She nodded. Didn't argue. I laid out the boundary. I'll show up to family events, but only if there's mutual respect. No more dismissals, public or private. You don't get to erase me to feel better about yourself. She agreed. My parents started asking about my work. For the first time in years, they listened. Ryan sent me a thank you email, and then 2 client referrals. Both turned into contracts. The wedding video went semi-viral in military circles. I got 3 inquiries from veteran-owned businesses looking for consulting help. But the real win? I stopped looking for approval from people who chose not to see me. I took part of my consulting income and set up a scholarship for enlisted women transitioning to civilian security careers. The medal went into a drawer. The boundary stayed up. Claire and I talk now, carefully, with distance. It's not perfect, but it's honest. And that's better than what we had before. Here's what I learned. You can't control who sees your worth, but you can control who gets access to your peace. My sister called me nobody special. Turns out I didn't need her permission to be someone. I already was. Now I want to hear from you. Have you ever been erased by your own family? How did you set the boundary? Drop your story in the comments. I read every single one. And subscribe, because next week I'm telling you about the uncle who tried to steal my inheritance. He didn't know I'm also a lawyer. This has been a fictionalized dramatization for entertainment purposes. It is not legal or financial advice. Thanks for watching.